Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 391 for what's the date today? March 19th, 2023. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruth, and joining me this week is a cat.
Cat.
Cat. And Andrew Aurora McFain.
I have the cat.
You have the cat. And we are also joined by Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It's actually me. I've been the one praying this whole time.
Has it been?
My genius charade.
And I, of course, am the host, Nathan Reetin Spruth. So tell me, where can we find you guys? Anybody pipe up? Or Aroa pipe up?
You can go to aroa.website. It's got links. There's links there.
Perfect. And you can also find me, Nathan Reetin Spruth. I'm everywhere at Reetin. So go to my Twitter, follow me there, and go to my Twitch. I'm there Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And
Real
that's
talk.
Twitch.
Just for a minute. Just don't go to Twitter. Why would you tell anyone go to Twitter? Don't go to Twitter.
Yeah, don't do that.
Do anything else with your time.
Go to Twitter.
You should go to Misskey instead.
Is that the new Mastodon?
No.
I have no idea what it is.
It's a Japanese social network thing that is like Mastodon. It uses ActivityPub, but it's otherwise totally separate. And I'm using it purely because I'm a fucking weeb.
Oh, I see.
But it can communicate with Mastodon instances, so it's still fine.
Oh, that's good. When I was in Japan, I went on Twitter while I was like on the train and stuff, and then I would look at my trending tab, and I was like, I can't read any of this. It's all Japanese trends. It was great.
Hikikomori.
Well, no, it was all. It wasn't in kanji. It was in the I forget.
Kana.
It was in the Japanese characters, not the Americanized.
Oh, it wasn't in Romaji.
It's in kanji, not Romaji.
Yeah,
Well,
I
Kana,
apologize.
probably.
So I couldn't read any of it. Like I couldn't even pretend to read it.
Anyway,
Anyway,
You don't even have the fucking decency to at least learn the written alphabet before you go over there.
I learned a little bit, but it's hard, man. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna ask what games you played this week, Connor.
Man, I gotta think about it for a second. Mostly because you guys know how I have a sickness and nostalgia is my big thing.
Yeah.
So Battlefield 2042 was on sale, and they ported a whole bunch of maps from Bad Company and Battlefield 4 and stuff. And I was like, oh, I adore those maps. Yes, for initially free because it was free to play, and then for $13 it was on sale. So I was like, yes, I will fall into this horrible habit of playing Battlefield again. And it's been great. It's definitely not like how it was when it was first out. They re-added classes, which is something Battlefield definitely needed. And it's good. It's scratching that squad-based cooperation itch that I've been looking for. Although it is a first-person shooter, which I'm really sick and tired of, I gotta be honest.
So when Battlefield 2042 first came out, it apparently was garbage, but it's better now.
Which is the story of every Battlefield release these days. 3 sucked, 4 sucked, 1 sucked, 42 sucked, and they work on it.
Yeah, that's
every
This
other
is game
screen in
development
this
nowadays.
every other screen in this game is trying to get you to buy their premium shit. It's really obnoxious.
I hate
You start
that.
the game, you get a cutscene saying, "Hey, look what you could buy." You go to play a mission, the very first screen you get after that, a quarter of it's taken up with, by the way, you can get premium content. You start a game and it tells you you're tracking. If you had premium content, you'd be unlocking all of this. At the end of game report, there's an entire window before it shows you your experience where it's and here's the progress you made on premium content if you paid for it. And it's Jesus, game, I get it. I don't want it.
Buy the battle pass. Buy the battle pass.
Yeah.
It is so down your throat obnoxious. But luckily for them, I've got 30 years of practice ignoring the hell out of ads.
Yeah.
And then speaking of chasing my nostalgia, I've been playing Shenmue, which is a great game if you want to just turn your brain off for an hour or two and walk around 1985 Japan.
I do actually want to walk around Japan.
It's great.
But 2 years before I was born.
I mean, anytime really, it sounds great. I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2, still just not doing the missions and just screwing off and hunting. I am rich. I don't understand why these guys ever had problem with money. Spend like 45 minutes hunting and you'll have enough money. All of my guns are gold plated. Let's just put it like that.
I don't think that's how it was in real, in real life back then.
Sure,
It
and
is
if they didn't
ironic,
give me a
though,
good
that,
deal, I
like,
just shoot them.
What were you gonna say?
you spend like the storyline like doing like wacky get rich quick schemes and shit when you could have just become an honest man and would have made just as much money, if not more.
Yeah,
Definitely more. Like robbing a bank will get you rich quick, but it also like gets heat on you. You got to pay off fines afterward. Like there's a cost to getting rich quick. Maybe that's like a message they were intending, but probably not. Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
good
know.
game. I don't need to sing its laurels any more than it's already sung.
Good.
And
Did
it's
you
on
play?
sale right now. Pick it up.
Did you play anything else? Anything that looks like Chip Challenge?
I did play a little bit of Space Station 13. I didn't really do anything like no. I okay. I guess that's not true. I was practicing making pipe bombs initially because somebody asked me if I knew how because theirs weren't working. I was like, sure, and that got me thinking. I wonder what other wacky things I could do with this. For example, I could fill a pipe bomb, but instead of gasoline or something explosive, fill it with cleaning solution. Ah, somebody vomited all over the bar. Pipe bomb, and it explodes cleaning solution everywhere.
And did that work to clean things?
It did clean things in that it exploded, and you can't be dirty if you're rubble.
No.
But these are how you learn. You got to experiment to make progress, right?
I love the idea of that so much that you earnestly go, no, wait, I've got a fantastic invention for this. It's the Windex bomb. It just explodes and destroys everything and kills two people.
It wasn't that bad of an explosion. We got everything patched up, but we did have to evacuate the bar.
Well, you tried. Now you have to make.
I'm actually going to
bombs
say
with-
I succeeded. I learned how not to build a Windex bomb.
Well, now you have to make bombs with like weed in them or meth.
Both of those sound incredibly trivial. Give me a real challenge, please.
I don't know. I don't know how to do anything in that game. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna ask Aroa what games he's played this week.
Been playing quite a bit of Bone Razor Minions, which I think I mentioned last time is kind of doing the Vampire Survivors formula, but mixing things up, and I like it quite a bit. It's not so like in Vampire Survivors, everything kind of revolves around you,
Yes.
the player unit. In Bone Razor Minions, it's more along the lines of if you were playing Vampire Survivors as the like witch doctor from Diablo. So like it's all about summoning monsters that then go and attack everything for you. And the only thing you really need to focus on is movement and keeping yourself alive. And it creates a very different dynamic compared to Vampire Survivors, where it's like at some point you just become an unstoppable killing machine. In Bone Razor Minions, you're pretty much always vulnerable. You can upgrade your health and stuff, and there are add-ons that give you slight offensive capabilities, but for the most part, you're just trying to not get hit very much at all. And there are a bunch of different subclasses that like you can get that while the gameplay doesn't change like a lot, it changes enough to where it feels like a very different experience between the different classes. Like there's one class that instead of summoning the typical monsters, they summon clones of the enemies in the game, which are all like normal human characters, like peasants and paladins and stuff. It also sounds like there's a class that instead of summoning anything at all, you just get the ability, so it basically becomes like Vampire Survivors, but I haven't played as them yet.
Interesting. So,
But it is very much a roguelite, so you die a lot and all that good stuff.
is that on
Yeah.
Steam?
Yep, it's like $5.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring something up real quick that you guys might not know what any of the. Did you guys know what Lane Defender is by chance? This is a custom game mode for Warcraft 3 that I think eventually got ported out to its own thing. That sounds a lot like what you're doing there. Instead of summoning an army, you're summoning like opponents, and when you kill those opponents, you get resources to summon more. I remember it being a really satisfying feedback loop, and they also haven't thought about it in like 2 decades.
That is also an aspect of it. Yeah, that like it's almost built like a pseudo idle game in that way, that like part of the upgrade path is upgrading the enemies so that you can kill the stronger enemies and get more money to then upgrade your shit more. It's like for being a $5 game, very much in the same vein as Vampire Survivors, for being so cheap, it is like surprisingly deep and well put together. There's a card battler mode that's just a separate thing on its own, where like as you play through the main game, you collect cards for that mode, and it doesn't really serve much of a purpose besides just being a fun little auto battler thing, but it's still pretty cool. And there's a separate mode for like just trying to get high scores, so you have like a set map that you can play on, and there's like a campaign sort of thing that you can go through each one, and each one gets harder. Like there's a lot to it, and I've probably only unlocked maybe half of the content in the game overall, and I've got 8 hours in it, and that's just unlocking it. That's not even like actually experiencing it. So,
And
yeah.
is it a similar art style as Vampire Survivors?
It is very pixel art. It is not in the same way as Vampire Survivors. This is going for more of like, funnily enough, the kind of pixel art that I don't tend to like, and I don't really like super dig the art style, because it's that weird pseudo pixel art that like there's no actual 8-bit console or 16-bit console that ever looked like this.
I see.
But it's fine.
I was gonna say, like, Vampire Survivors is 8-bit, and it's meant to look like Castlevania. That's what they're going for.
This definitely has its own like thing going for it. Like it doesn't really look like much of anything else in terms of the design of the individual characters and stuff. It's just I really don't like the like post 2010 pixel art style in general. But that's just a me thing. I do really like that the game very heavily leans into the dick puns.
Oh, good.
Because bone, it says in the title is Bone Razor, and it looks like it just says Bone Razor, like
I see.
boner. And it like has stuff like this mob will blow its load all over the guys and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny.
I'm happy that you like that. Did you play anything else?
I finished Pizza Tower. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that game is fucking amazing. I will definitely go back to it at some point, but I spent 8 hours in it, and the game's fucking great. I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop, and everyone should play it at some point. It's definitely going to be like, if it's not Game of the Year, which it probably won't be, it needs to be in like everybody's top 10.
If it's not Game of the, I'm assuming it's not going to be Game of the Year.
It's not going to be Game of the Year because something stupid like Spider-Man 4 will come out or something. But
yeah.
I'm also going to say Pizza Tower is probably better than Spider-Man 4.
Well, Spider-Man, it won't be Spider-Man 4 because they're
Spider-Man 4.
If they release it, it'll be
Spider-Man 4: Return of the Sandman.
It'll be Spider-Man 3, I think. Yeah, it would be Spider-Man 2. It'll be
It's gonna be
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Lego
Miles Morales
Spider-Man
is like
9.
that
Yeah.
expansion pack.
Granddad.
Did you play anything else?
No.
Okay. We're going to move on to me. I played some Overwatch on Monday, and they're doing like a comment. They're doing...
Overwatch.
Shut the fuck up. Fucking seriously, that fucking annoys me. Stop it.
Why does that annoy you?
It does. It's very annoying. So they're doing in Overwatch like a Common Rider crossover. And so I unlocked like a Common Rider skin.
That's weird.
Yeah, so they have 2 different skins. I unlocked one. Apparently he just rides a bike. I don't remember the name of it. It's like a kind of a joke character, I guess. But one of the skins was Common Rider just on a bike with a helmet.
Wait a minute. Are you sure it's Kamen Rider
Yes.
and it's not One Punch Man?
No. Well, there is a One Punch Man as well. And that's Doomfist.
Are you sure the guy on the bike is not a character from One Punch Man?
Okay. I am not sure. But I also know that there is a Common Rider, and I was going to get to that. So there's the one on the bike. There's One Punch Man, which is a Doomfist skin. And then there was another one it's actually Common Rider, where Soldier 76 can dress up as Common Rider.
Okay.
Now you may be correct. It might be a One Punch Man thing. I haven't watched either.
I posted an image. I'll post an image from the anime as well.
That
of Moomin Rider.
That is it. It is Moomin Rider.
Yeah.
You are correct. So that's from One Punch Man.
He's literally just a guy on a bike. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not just a guy on a bike. All right. He has all of our hearts.
Okay.
That's true.
But there was a Common Rider one like that you had to pay for. It was part of the battle pass. This one, the Moomin Rider, you could get for free just by completing games. After you complete 25, it's 24 games, then you can get Moomin Rider. If you actually win the game, then it counts as 2 points. So you could get it in 12 games if you win all 12 games. So I got Moomin Rider, and of course my friend Durga was like, I don't know if I like Common Rider, buying Battle Pass.
Yeah.
I was like, no, don't do it. Don't give them money. Don't support this.
I will support it whenever they do things that I want.
I won't. I don't want it. I don't want.
This is super exciting for me. You shut up. I want anime crossover shit in WoW. I will pay money in the cash shop in WoW for anime shit for my WoW characters.
Okay.
Anime level 90 Tauren Chieftain Blood Knight, and these are my Moe hair pumps.
I would be so happy if I could just have, like, I don't even know, like DBZ hair for my character or something. I don't even fucking care. Just something stupid.
Yeah, and
your
then
flying mount is the Nimbus. That'd be great.
Yes, which is literally something in Fortnite, and it almost made me pay money for a game I don't even play.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like the Nimbus. Anyway, there's also, I played on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm playing through Persona 3 Portable. I have to say, so last week, the week before last, I got to the quote end of the game where they're like, oh, you defeat the 12 shadows and you beat the game. And I was going up against the 12th shadow, and my friend's like, oh, are you just gonna play all night, or do it tomorrow or whatever? I'm like, yeah, this isn't the end of the game. Like, I'm gonna defeat the 12th shadow, and then there's like 20 hours of gameplay left because it's Persona, and that's what they do in every Persona game. And they're like, this is the final oh, nope, not the final villain. So, I should probably, if I burn through it, I should be able to beat it this upcoming week. So look forward to that. And then I'll be playing a different game. And I think I know what game I might be playing. And we'll talk about that later.
Pokemon Snap.
Yes. I'll talk about that later. And then Friday night before last, I played some WWE 2K23, and I did the showcase mode. Now, the showcase mode, don't yawn. The showcase mode is they bring it in like every year. You stop that. The showcase mode, they typically have like, okay, you're Charlotte Flair and you're playing through a bunch of Charlotte Flair's matches. And you play as Charlotte Flair. This one's a little different because it's John Cena, but it's all of John Cena's losses. So you're playing as John Cena's opponents in the match, which it's not all of his losses, but they're big losses that he had. And it's a little weird because of how much stuff they blur. Because they will they'll have challenges and they're like, okay, if you do this at this spot, then it will cut to the actual match that they were having and then cut back into gameplay. But they blur everything. So they blur John Cena's wristbands.
Because they didn't get licensed for all of his logos and shit.
Yeah. But so they do the wristbands. They do T-shirts in the crowds. They blurred the face of the referees because the referees don't work there anymore. They turned off commentary, so there's no commentary for the matches or in the live action parts. And if you look in the back, they blur out the commentators who aren't there anymore. So like Jim Ross, his face is blurred out, even though he was commentating in the match. Everything is blurred out. There was
so when
a match...
John Cena says you can't see me, he's really insisting on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was a match between John Cena versus Edge with Lita at ringside for Edge. And Lita, her shirt was held on by double-sided tape. So you could see, during the live action bits, I'm like, man, Lita, you have... That's a very revealing shirt that you have. And at the end of the match, Edge wins because this is all of John Cena's losses. So Edge wins the match, and they cut to the live action where it's close up of Edge and Lita, and they blurred out her cleavage. They blurred everything. And I thought that was kind of funny. But also it was the referees one kind of got me because I was like, they're in the match. You can hear them talking to the wrestlers. But they didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay royalties. But wouldn't their voice also mean that they should have to pay royalties?
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
They're probably just trying to be safe.
Yeah, I would imagine. They're trying to be safe by not. They're like, we don't have these people in the game, so we're just blurring everything. But yeah, there was
after the tattoo suing thing, they're probably trying to be as careful as they can.
Yeah, my favorite tattoo thing about any wrestler is the Undertaker, because in the mid 2000s, the Undertaker was married, so he's supposed to be this badass undead zombie, and he it zooms in on his neck, and it's Sarah. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about some actual news stories. Anybody here have Mint Mobile?
No, but I will say I don't usually watch any television at all. I've had a little bit of exposure this last week, and I think that's probably the thing I've seen commercials for the most. It is so heavily advertised, it's sickening.
They
really
advertise
is.
like fucking crazy.
They do. And honestly, if I wasn't going to do international travel, I would look at something like Mint Mobile because it's got good prices, right? It's fine. It runs off the T-Mobile network. Even more so now that they're selling Mint Mobile to T-Mobile for $1.35 billion. So
which is so weird.
No, it's not.
Are they just buying the clientele?
So this was the plan all along, and I pretty much knew that it was going to happen. I knew that they were going to sell. I didn't know who they were going to sell to, but that's kind of what Ryan Reynolds bought not a controlling stake in the company, but he's part owner of the company for the last couple of years. And what they would do is Ryan Reynolds will go in, he'll buy, 20, 30% of a company or whatnot, use his face to get people to buy into the company and then sell it. And so anybody who knew what was going on knew that was going to happen. I didn't know that T-Mobile would buy it. But
that's what I mean. Like, I think it's weird that T-Mobile specifically bought them.
Oh, yeah. And I think that it's not going to expand their, like, they bought Sprint years ago now. And that would expand the number of towers that they have. But this is only going to expand the amount of customers that they have.
And it's not even really that, because they were all T-Mobile customers to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, Mint Mobile was taking a cut of all that, but like Mint Mobile still had to license T-Mobile's towers and shit.
Yeah.
Like, all that's doing is making life harder for T-Mobile, I would think, because the whole reason that MVNOs exist in the first place is that it's easier for telecom companies to let smaller telecom companies essentially handle all the customer service aspects and then take a cut of the profits on that for allowing the smaller carrier to use their towers.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. But I mean, there's also Metro by T-Mobile, which is another MVNO that's controlled. It's like and Cricket. Like, Cricket's owned by AT&T.
Yeah, both Metro PCS and Cricket were both their own thing for the longest time, and then T-Mobile bought Metro, and AT&T bought Cricket.
The only thing I can think of,
I don't get it.
The only thing I can think of is they still, like, yes, they were making money off of Mint Mobile, but they look at Mint Mobile's profits and go, we could make more money. Like, if we don't have to, if we don't have to do X, Y, or Z for this company, like, we could have all the profit instead of just some of the profit.
I guess that makes sense. Like, if you just let Mint continue operating the way that it was already, then you get to absorb both the profits that they were already making and the ones that they were making for you.
Yeah. And so there was another company called Ultra Mobile that was bought out as well. And I have no idea who Ultra Mobile is. But it's the same thing. It's an MVNO. It's got relatively decent plans. I looked them up. It looks like they have decent prices. Not as good as Mint Mobile, but they have decent prices. I'm looking them up right now. It's their basic plan that they recommend you get is $20 a month. You get 2 gigs of data and talk and text are unlimited. Mint Mobile's plans start out at $15 a month for 4 gigabytes of data and unlimited talk and text. So obviously that's better. I would say, go with Mint Mobile. Like, if I didn't have international traveling on my mind, I would probably go with something like Mint Mobile rather than Consumer Cellular or anything like that. I did look up the price for international travel on both of these, and it's $200 a gig if you travel internationally. So I would recommend not getting Mint Mobile or Ultra Mobile if you're going to be traveling, to Japan or something like that.
No.
Same thing with Consumer Cellular. It's way too expensive because they don't have international plans. So they're just like, okay, you're going to run off their towers and it's going to charge you 20 cents per megabyte, which is a lot of money. Who do you guys go through? Because I think Aroa goes through Consumer Cellular still.
Mm-hmm.
I'm through Google Fi and Cyberpunk Monk. Who do you go through?
I got Verizon. I got great signal.
Yeah, but they're expensive.
It's cheap enough for me. I'm like on a part of a plan with 5 other people, so I just like throw down. I think it's like $40 a month. It's not bad at all.
Okay,
My
that's
share
not bad.
anyways.
if you want or need Verizon and aren't in a situation like that, you can get, I think it's Visible,
Mhm.
is one of the very few Verizon MVNOs.
Yeah. Before I worked there, Consumer Cellular actually was a Verizon MVNO. It was Verizon and AT&T.
So they were the best.
No, because what they would do, well, I mean, kind of. What they would do is kind of what they did when T-Mobile first came onto AT&T, and they would look at your address and be like, "Okay, you're better with Verizon in that area."
But yeah,
So
they
they would
still
send,
do that.
yeah. And it's terrible. It's stupid. I don't know why they can't do what Google Fi does, where it like uses either network at the same time.
Because SIM cards.
Yeah, I don't know how like the Google Fi was able to switch between US Cellular, T-Mobile, and Sprint. Now Google Fi only uses T-Mobile.
Well, yeah, because Sprint doesn't exist anymore.
And they just dropped US Cellular.
That's, yeah, I don't know with that.
So
It might be because US Cellular, because I think US Cellular was CDMA for the longest
This
time.
is AP News Minute.
I don't know if they still are or not, because that might have been why. That if you have devices that have both GSM and CDMA radios, you could potentially run both at the same time. That's all I
Yeah.
could think of. Yeah, I'm on AT&T's network and it's fine. I finally have a 5G phone now, and it's not any better than 4G at all.
Yeah.
Granted, that's partially because of where I'm located, but also it's either that AT&T's network sucks or that
They
5G
throttle.
might be just a little overrated. 1 megabit down, bro. That ain't even throttling. That's just the connection
bad.
sucks.
I don't know what mine runs out on Google Fi. I could test, but it won't be great. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about the next story though while I do this, and we're gonna talk about Ghostwire Tokyo. Now you played this game, Aroa.
I did.
How was it?
All right.
Okay, did you beat it? I don't think you
Nope.
did.
No.
But you
Got
just
bored.
think it was all right.
Yeah. I think it's a solid like 6, maybe 7.
Okay, good. It's coming to Game Pass, which I did not see coming. I'm very excited for that.
I am surprised that it hadn't done so already.
Yeah, like that. It would make sense if it did come already, but
because it's published by Bethesda.
Mm-hmm. And you can go on Game Pass right now and preload it, but it's expected to hit April 12th. It looks like you can expect it on Steam for this is from Rock Paper Shotgun. It's $60, or you can wait for it to hit Game Pass alongside the Spider's Thread update, which is an update that they're bringing to Ghostwire Tokyo, and that'll be April 12th. So very excited.
Cutscenes, additional areas, and much more.
Mm-hmm. So, this is something that this may be the next game I play through if something else doesn't, take up my time after I beat Persona 3 Portable. Have you had any interest in this game, Cyberpunk Monk?
No, none at all.
Why not?
It doesn't look like the kind of game I'd get into.
Oh,
Like, it looks pretty, but it also looks kind of button mashy.
you're like, there is no hunting in it. I can't just go out into the wilds and hunt and make
I can't
hundreds
just
of
turn
thousands
off
of
my
dollars.
brain for 20 minutes and, like, even though I'm not progressing story-wise, I'm progressing development-wise. Nah, it's not for me. I just want a good sandbox.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in this, it appears to be more, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it appears to be more in line with, other open world games where it's kind of like, here's the story, and you can do some side missions, but mainly you're going through the story with a little bit of open world stuff.
Nah, not really.
Oh, okay.
So there are a lot of like side things to do. It's just that, like, I guess the open world itself, at least for as long as I played, which I felt like I didn't even get halfway through the game, honestly. Um, there's enough side content in there to definitely distract you from the main game, but the way that the game is kind of built, it incentivizes kind of ignoring the side content a lot of the time.
Oh, interesting.
It has a very strange flow to it, because like for a little while you're just getting dragged along the story, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, there are these things that could possibly distract you if you want to get distracted. um it like almost wants to have like a Ubisoft-esque, like, here's some collectibles on the map, you can go get them if you want. And like a lot of the side content is at least like a 20 or 30-minute experience. It'll
Mhm.
be like, oh, hey, there's this ghost sitting outside this building, and he's like, all that stuff, it just keeps getting put into that building, and I don't know why. And then you go into the building and solve whatever mystery is going on in there, and turns out it's a black hole garbage demon or
Interesting.
something. Like there's a lot of nifty stuff in there. I think it's perfect for being something to put on Game Pass, that like for like people who weren't going to pay $60 for a game that looked like both nothing that you've ever seen, but also like every other game you've ever seen. Like the art style and the gameplay itself feels very different, but at the same time, like, it's at the end of the day still a by the numbers sort of immersive sim first person shooter experience.
It's
And
probably the prettiest edition of Yokai Watch I could think of.
so that being said, you just described the game very well. And here it describes the new Spider's Thread update that's coming out. It's separate from the main game, and this is just all getting read from rock paper shotgun. It's separate from the main game. Go to the main menu and you select it. It'll be a 30-stage gauntlet made of 130 handcrafted levels. There's only one goal: to get to the end. Clearing levels will grant you stronger abilities, while dying will send you to the start. You'll still retain a portion of your abilities though, hence the roguelike aspects. So it's a survival tower. That's the new
cool.
update. So if you're interested in this game, that might be a mode you try after you beat the game or play the game for a while.
It definitely seems like, yeah, because I know that the combat was starting to feel kind of whenever I stopped playing, but I had also only unlocked, like I said, about half of what was actually in the game.
Yeah. So and this was a game I know you were interested, like when you saw the trailers, you were like, oh my god, this looks great.
Yeah, because like aesthetically, it's everything that I want. I absolutely love the art style of the game, and like playing it, it just has this sense of style and intent in like everything in the game. Like it's fantastic. Like as far as world design and visually, and the like Japanese cyberpunk like aesthetic to everything, and even like the writing and stuff isn't bad. It manages to have like a protagonist that talks without being an obnoxious piece of shit. Like it's not a bad game. I don't think it should have been $60. And two, I just don't think it did a very good job of marketing itself as what it is.
Now, wasn't it originally on Epic? Is that where it was originally sold?
Maybe
And
that's why it.
Because
Maybe that's why it's just now coming to Game Pass.
And Steam.
Oh, okay, then yeah, definitely that must have been it.
And there's another game coming to Steam soon that was originally not on Steam, and I believe it was only on Epic. It's that Final Fantasy game, the Chaos one. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh shit! Yeah, what is it? Is it like, it's not Lords of Chaos, is it?
Not Lords of Chaos. It's Final Fantasy Origins.
Yeah, it's just a remake of the first Final Fantasy, but with like modern graphics, and it's also like a beat 'em up.
and edgelords, and it's
Yeah,
not.
it's super edgy.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I actually wanted to play that, so that's cool.
Yeah, I just saw that. I don't have it as one of the stories. I just thought I'd mention it since Ghostwire Tokyo is coming to Steam. You can buy that for $60 or get it on Game Pass.
Yeah, you should. It is absolutely not worth paying $60 for.
No. Or you can buy the Final Fantasy Origins. I can't remember the full name, and I'm not going to look it up. We're going to move on to our last story, though. Huh?
Ghostwire Tokyo is already on Steam.
Is it?
Yeah, you can get it for $23 right now on sale.
You can pick it up on Steam for. Okay. Oh, I guess I misread it. I apologize. It says you can pick it up on Steam for $60, or you can wait for it to hit Game Pass on April 12th. I apologize. I misread it. I thought that it was that it was going to be April 12th is going to release on Steam.
There goes all our credibility.
We had none of that in the beginning. Hey, at least we corrected ourselves pretty much immediately, right? Or Aroa corrected me pretty much immediately. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the last story. This is one that Connor brought up. What is this about? Magic the Gathering? One Magic the Gathering card?
I'm not reading the article, by the way. I'm just going to talk about this. You guys know what Magic the Gathering is before we proceed, right? Very popular trading card game. It's a trading
card game with warriors and wizards.
Yeah, pretty much. It's owned by Wizards of the Coast, the same company that is D&D, ultimately owned by Hasbro.
Those pieces of shit. Yeah, got it.
You're not wrong. Anyways, they recently did a partnership with Games Workshop, the people who do the publishing for that Warhammer game that I love so much. And what they found out is that adults with disposable income will spend that disposable income on things that they like, including pieces of cardboard with ink printed on them. It's just like hand over fist printing money. So they're like, huh, okay. Well, what other sort of intellectual properties do you have that you can license? Like, oh, I don't know. Have you ever heard of The Lord of the Rings? Which Games Workshop also owns the publishing rights to in their miniatures series. So now they're doing a collaboration that's got the internet breaking more than that one time Kim Kardashian did the photo with the butt on it. And one of the gimmicks that they're doing this time is they're only going to print one copy of one special edition of the One Ring card. This copy will not be available as a draft or set booster box. It's not going to be available as a bundle, or as a collectible booster. It's only going to be inside of a collector booster, like the kind that you get it at the store off the shelf, or inside of a gift bundle, which is what people get when they buy like in bulk.
No.
So they have to spend a shit ton of money just for the potential to get the one card that's released.
And they're like, hey, people usually buy all the sets and stuff. What if we got a way for them to buy all of our little packs? Just too many of them.
But so it's only going to have one, though?
So there's four versions of this card.
One.
There's the main set version, which looks just like any other Magic card. There's a bundle alternate art promo version that's going to be available in most boxes. They want people to have copies of this card, ironically.
Right.
They're also making an extended art version, which is only going to be in some packs. And then they're making one ring version, which is written in
Elvish, I guess.
I think that's Black Speech of I don't know. It's been way too long since I've needed to look at this.
Mordor.
No, that is definitely Elven, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're only printing one. It's going to be snuck away inside of one pack randomly, and someone's going to get this and either discard it and not know what they have, or it's going to sell for $5 million.
Yeah. You can only get it from a gift bundle or the collector booster, it says. People
are going to die trying to buy this card.
Yeah.
But they're not going to die in the same way that like you get people who ruin themselves over like mobile games. There will probably be, I'm going to say double digits people who will probably be financially insecure / irresponsible and buy way too many packs and not get it.
I had a friend who was really into Magic when I was in college, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so they come out with a new meta every 6 months, right?" Mm-hmm. And so what he would do every 6 months is he told me this and was not embarrassed when he told me this, is that he would go down to the store and basically go to every store he could and buy all of the packs of Magic cards that he could get and spend anywhere from like $1,500 to $2,500 just to make sure that he had all the cards. And I was like, oh, that's really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a lot of money that you're just dropping.
So I hear what you're saying, but it's kind of not actually. Like, these things do appreciate in value pretty drastic. Like,
some things do,
there
but,
is a market for it.
But he wasn't selling them. He wasn't doing it for that. He was just
Right,
doing
but he's
that.
not like, okay, I'm done playing with it. I'm going to set it on fire now. It's like, yeah, they're going to sit in a shoebox until maybe he'll go. Like, well, a lot of times I know just from experience that people do is they'll turn around and they'll be like, I have like a shoebox, literally just full of cards, unarranged, on whatever. And a store owner will be like, yeah, I'll buy it from you for $100. And then they'll take 4 or 5 cards out of that. They'll get their money's worth, and the rest are just dumps.
I like on the bottom it says all versions of the One Ring are mechanically identical.
Well, yeah.
Well, I would like it if the one ring, right, the one that they're
It's just
printing.
Exodia. It's Exodia all on its own.
It's a cool. So when you play it, you get protection from everything. So nothing can hurt you. Nothing can target you. You're basically, it's a good card, even if it's only for one turn.
Yeah, I never really got into Magic, mainly because people would be like, "Oh yeah, we got to go and we just got to buy 20 booster packs to try to get good cards," and I was just like, "No, I'm good."
Hearthstone exists. Why would I do this?
See, I loved Magic growing up, especially. I still in arm's reach. I have probably my body weight's worth in Magic cards. And that being said, owning Magic cards was always my least favorite part of the hobby. Once I found a group that let me like print out cards and proxy out decks, the amount that I enjoyed this game went up probably 10 to 20 fold.
I knew people who would do that. They would print out their own cards and just like print out all the best cards. And my other friends would not do that. They would, try to actually build decks with the cards that they had. And so they would just get destroyed because the people were printing out cards and being like, "Oh yeah, this is what we're doing." So I'm a little on the fence about printing your own cards.
I mean, it's we have digital card games now.
Yeah,
I just
do that.
I don't really get, like, my friend's husband is really into Magic, like to the point that he's one of those people who has financially ruined himself on multiple occasions spending thousands of dollars on cardboard. And like, I just cannot comprehend, and I especially cannot comprehend doing that with digital Magic cards, because at least with the physical cards, one, like, as somebody who collects vinyl, which has a similar non-purpose, I get like wanting to have a physical copy of a cool thing that you like, but digital cards, what are you doing? And it's, again, like, not even like with Hearthstone, because in the case of Hearthstone, at least if a card gets flushed out of the meta, like it goes into the vault or whatever, you can still play those cards in wild mode. In Magic, whenever a card is outlawed in the game, like it's just gone.
Well,
like it's like, yeah, you could play it with your friends or something, but if you go to anything that's regulated, like, you're not going to be able to play with those cards anymore.
No.
And like, that's dumb, and that sucks. And like, particularly in the case of digital cards, like, it's the same fucking thing. And it's really fucking stupid that digital cards cost the same amount that physical cards do. That's insane. All of that is insane. I will never understand people who pay like thousands of dollars for, the meme is the first edition Holo Charizard or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get any of that. I don't understand that culture, but I mean, I guess at the same time, can I really say that if I was making, say, twice or 3 times as much as I am now, would I be more open to the idea of pissing away money on like a fucking, I don't know, one of those Sonic the Hedgehog arcade machines or something? Yeah, I probably would. So, guess I can't really talk.
So tune
Yeah.
in next week when I get a row of cripplingly addicted to Warhammer. What army are you choosing, buddy?
Yeah, I guess that's also a fair point. Like, I would be personally much more apt to get into Warhammer purely from the perspective that like they're tiny little figurines, and my brain likes figurines more than cardboard.
Yeah.
Sure, you could display them.
Yeah, much in the same way that I have at least $300 or $400 worth of amiibo in the other room, and like I'm never going to do anything with those, but they're little figurines of characters that I like, and I think that's cool.
I mean, you can still use them in some games, right? Or did they completely
Some.
kill that?
Not
No,
really.
you can.
I
No,
think
you
they
can.
basically abandoned it, actually, haven't they?
They don't really put it in much of anything, but it is in. It's going to be in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. I was gonna say Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah.
Are
And
they?
yeah, probably. I don't know. I remember it was in the original Breath of the Wild. You could like scan a card and it would summon like a chest that you would open. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're doing with Tears of the Kingdom as well.
Good.
It's just that you get like crafting items and stuff instead of just like random junk.
So
I
now
have 40 amiibo that I made, so that kind of broke that game for me. I kind of hope they don't bring it back for Tears of the Kingdom, but that's a different discussion.
They already said they are.
join us next week
And-
when Reetin has spent his entire savings on Magic the Gathering cards, just trying to get the One Ring. I doubt I would do that. I don't
Reetin's
think I
got
would.
dragon sickness.
Yes, that's it. It's
I should say as well, though, that in spite of like me being able to, I guess, kind of justify the idea of spending the money on that, this does not change the fact that Wizards of the Coast is gross for doing this.
yeah, they are. This
this
that's
is
quite awful.
Yeah, like I can kind of understand the idea of naivete with this sort of thing, but they know exactly what they're doing, and that's shitty.
They know that there are whales out there who already buy way too many Magic cards and are now going to be like, I want to get that One Ring, and they are going to spend all of their money doing this. Like people legitimately might miss mortgage payments just to try to have this card.
And what I started to say earlier and then got sidetracked. If Target hasn't already, like if Target never rolled back their like you can only buy like 2 packs or whatever per customer thing, if they haven't already rolled that like back, they just need to leave it alone. Because like otherwise you're going to have crowds of people all rolling into Target just like they did years ago that started that whole thing. People died.
Did they?
When
Did they
I
actually
worked
die?
at,
I
I think they got trampled, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a crush that happened at least in one Target, and that was what made it to where like a lot of places you couldn't even buy cards in store anymore. You had to buy them online.
When I worked at a retail place, there was a very short period where we were selling things like Magic and Pokemon cards. And then because they were like, people would come in, they'd just pick up the whole thing and walk out the store with them. So it was like, oh, well, we got to put a lock on that now. And it got to a point where if you want to buy it, you have to go back and like, it's locked up alongside the expensive liquor and like perfume and stuff like that.
Well, that's sad.
So fucking weird.
That's where we're at now.
Yep.
People want to get numb, smell good, and play children's card games.
Yep.
Hopefully in that order.
Anyway, we are done with our podcast for today. I would like to thank you for being here, Aroa.
I was here, I guess.
And I would like to thank you for being here, Cyberpunk Monk.
Final notes, if you're playing Magic the Gathering, you probably have liquor, smell good, or have nice cards. 2 of the 3, not all of them.
I see. And, of course, I was your host. You're welcome for me being here. We will be back next week talking about more stuff. Goodbye.
Bye.
Can't wait to hear more about Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.